If you want to understand why your software, AI, ERP implementation is struggling, you do not need another framework. You need clear communication and a vision. And I'm going to use a little personal story time to break this down for you. I think it's helpful when we explain complex strategies in simple terms. So I'd love to hear your stories as well. But my kids have a new project at school this year. Meanwhile, they're kindergarten and first grade, right? And they launched this new project brought in by a new teacher, and we're making Thanksgiving Day balloons that look like the Macy's Day Parade. Cute, right? Wrong. So it's important to understand this community or organization, right? This is unapologetically a very exclusive private school, right? So there's a very engaged community when it comes to their kids' academics. They, grade on an Ivy League scale, very involved group. So instead of, speaking to them, they decide to send out a letter saying, hey, we're doing this project, and cue the parent freak out. What kind of balloon? What size of balloon? Does it need to float? Does it have helium on it? What's the theme? Is it Thanksgiving theme? When I tell you, it was the talk of the drop-off line, okay? Very few details provided, very similar to when a CEO goes on stage and is like, hey, 2025 is the year of AI. Everybody has to fill in the blanks. What does that mean for me, my job, my role? So they send out another communication that now we're being reactive, right? So they're saying, hey, you know what? I see there's some confusions around this. Why don't you guys just buy this balloon on Amazon that's a 36-inch balloon? And here you go. You can decorate it however you want. So now people are like, well, does it have to be that balloon? Or my project I was planning involved multiple balloons and it didn't, I can't use that balloon, blah, blah, blah. Again, chaos. We're a small community in Western Colorado, but I am not lying when I tell you I heard about it at sporting events. I heard about it at dance class. I heard about it everywhere. And, I was right in there gossiping too. Like, what are we supposed to do? We don't have any requirements. I'm a project manager, okay? So finally they send out a third email. Again, very reactive to just the absolute irrational insanity that's happening within the school culture. So they say, hey, you know what? How about everyone relax? This doesn't actually even have to be a balloon. It could be a stuffed animal. It could be a toy. So they're trying to push down the pressure, right? And by doing so and not effectively evaluating or hearing, right, what the users are saying, that infuriates the parent community because they've already bought their balloon. You told me to buy this balloon on Amazon. I bought the balloon. I've been working on it with my 6-year-old who now, what am I supposed to say? Sorry, honey. Sorry, sweetheart. You're not going to be bringing your balloon, right? We're going to bring, Teddy the turtle instead. I don't know if you've ever met a 6-year-old, but they're not inherently flexible. Complete chaos, inflating everywhere. See what I did there? The day of the parade comes around. It's absolute pandemonium. Dropping off, there's balloons everywhere. Balloons are popping, kids are crying. It's absolute chaos. Then comes around 10 a.m. It's a balloon parade for the community. And it's adorable. When I say I had the best time, I had the best time. So cute. The kids were so excited. All of a sudden, the entire tone shifts. Just like any big change in an organization, once you're on the other side of it, people are like, that was an excellent idea. I don't know what kind of monster could have complained about this adorable child's project. So what can we learn from Balloon Gate of 2025? First of all, you got to know your audience. This amazing, adorable idea came from a second grade teacher that had not been involved in this community for a very long time. It was important that they knew who they were talking to and they floated the idea and assessed feedback beforehand. When you have a highly engaged organization, I see this all the time in academia, engineers, I'm looking at you, right? You need to know that you cannot leave room for interpretation on these bigger change initiatives or tech implementation projects. What is changing? How is it changing? When is it changing? What is measurable? What's in it for each particular role? What does it not mean? If you don't fill in those blanks proactively, your users are going to do it reactively, and 100% of the time, they're going to be wrong. Reactive communication fuels snowballing. When you're reacting, you're engaging in the chaos, and you're sending more updates, more instructions. You're changing things to make sure that you're accommodating people's emotions. You're not calming them down. You're accelerating the chaos. And that's how we end up things like AI outrage, spiraling ERP rollouts, user adoption in the absolute garbage, or in this case, a complete balloon mutiny. If you leave a project open-ended because you're not sure or you don't know what to do, that is worse than just saying, we don't know how this is going to turn out. It's going to be a discovery process. You leave an opening for people to make it make sense to them. Once that interpretation spreads, it becomes the truth, whether it's accurate or not. If you don't define the plan, people will define it for you. Whether it's an enterprise or an elementary school, it's the same key failure point every time.